Hello, everyone, and welcome to Conference USSSA.com's DW This Week in Softball. This week we went to Las Vegas, Nevada for the 12th annual Sin City Classic. 38 men's teams, 16 women's teams. We had scores over 100. We had some great plays, some bloopers, some walk-offs. Check out some of the sights and sounds of the tournament. Big League Dreams Park had 6 fields. The average fence distance was just 284 feet. The parks played small. The scores were high, partially because of the weather, which was cooler on Friday and Saturday, warmed up on Sunday. Here's your men's team list, 38 teams, 16 conference. On the women's side, they had 16 teams, and they played 2 double elimination tournaments. Full 240 bat bucket testing. You can see competitive edge, bats passed. I used their 2023 bats. And we used the Dudley Pro-Am ball, which was a good batch. Big League Dreams Park, if you've ever been there, a great place to watch tournaments, as you can see by these pictures. And we'll get you some video clips here. But first, trivia question of the week. How many Las Vegas majors has Brett Helmer led teams, that's Laservision and Rismondo that he's been with, won the Las Vegas major in the 12-year history? How many times has Brett Helmer's teams won? The 6 play-in games were played by the Regional C teams. They battled it out. 1 game of interest, JK Inc. here, led by Jay Hill, former conference player with OC Swats and West Coast Doorflinger. He's kind of mentoring a young team straight out of baseball. They won 44-29 over Locked and Loaded. They're a 2-0 on the year against B and 11-5 against C. Meanwhile, 15 of the 16 conference teams won their round of 32 game. Smash It Bay Area, California AA team. Seen here, a little bit of a crowd watching their round of 32 game. They beat the Product 29-9. 27 runs scored in their first 2 innings as Jason Branch, Joe Dorton, Zane Miguez, and Brady Bate were perfect hitting in the game. You can see their manager, one of their managers, Jay Ariel, using the Ball Club scoring app, which all teams have to use this year for live stats. See Kyle Fisher getting into one here on Yankee Field. Back on Dodger was JBL D1 Tailgaters, Ohio AA team, came from behind to beat BK, a Nevada B team put together by Clint Stricker, who was the manager of BTR last year. JBL winning, pulling it out in the end, 49-42. BK had some of their BTR players from last year, as well as sluggers Adam Smiley and Dan Norquist. Here's John Radich singling to left. Game was on Dodger Field. Probably one of the better games of the first round. There you see Bradley Scott going deep to left. Here's veteran Steve Edwards going down the line. Over on Yankee, it was Rufex, Revolution, Alba Coco, All Hustle, the Indiana AA team. That's the old Rock Run Silverbacks group who finished 5th at the Major World Series last year. They beat the Homies, Nevada C team, 41-21, as both teams scored double digits on the first inning, but Rufex leading 26-21 going to the bottom of the 4th, scored 15 runs to leave their Homies on the field. with a 20-run mercy run rule. Joseph Miller, Marcus Miller, Jason Slaybaugh, and last year's Conference Defensive Player of the Year, Ryan McClanahan, all collected 4 hits as Rufex spread out 12 home runs throughout the lineup. You can see Rufex here in the black and blue, scoring some more runs. Their coach, also Marcus Fry, Coach of the Year last year, he was also using ball clubs. Do you see a theme here? Used the ball clubs app. Homies couldn't come up with this ball on the fence. Rufex, as I said, scored, left them on the field, left the homies on the field. Here's Terry Lambright, set for a big year in 2023, launching a homer. Meanwhile, in the lower fourth of the bracket, Corsi Realty here batting. A new Conference California B team beat Balsagna 29-25. Now we move to Angel Field, where Classic Glass here in the black and orange, a California AA team, takes on JK Inc., who we talked about earlier. Classic Glass was all offense in this one, beating JK Inc. 27-7. Jeff Bloomer with the double there. Here's the veteran Sal Formosa. He's got himself a double. Their new pickup Shannon Smith launching a home run. Celebrating here with the boys. And Blake Lively, another pickup from Cheap Suits. He hits a single. Back on Dodger for the Seminoles game versus Utah C Team Nova. This was your only real upset of the first round. The sun directly in the eyes of the Seminoles AA team from Oklahoma, trying to bat in the bottom of the 7th. Nova was just a little too much in the sun. Nova wins it 34-32 as Seminoles here on the video had the bats in their hands, down a couple of runs in the bottom of the 7th. You see Nova finishing them off 34-32. Early evening Friday, it was the major teams taken to the fields for the first time. You see Mitch Lendemski of Competitive Edge Suncoast, FBI Olmedo, Florida major team, the 3 seed in the tournament, rolled through Laser Beam Cafe, California C team, 29-6. After a slow start, Competitive Edge scored 19 runs in the bottom of the 2nd and 8 more in the 3rd to win by the 20-run mercy rule. See Bubba Mack hitting a laser here. Tyler Irvine had 7 RBIs, and former Resmondo standout Bubba Mack was 4 for 4 with 3 homers. In other first-round action, round of 32, Resmondo and MPT Reynolds, the number 2 and number 1 seed, run-rolled their opponents, scoring 40-plus runs. Nitro Circus, the AA team, won their first game 36-17. A-teams, NFM Lending, LNS Glass, Bay Area Legends A-team, and Straight Play, all from the West, they all won big. And the new Conference B team, EAS, GS Sports, Suncoast from Colorado, beat the Corey Miller-led Arizona B team, Impact. Unified Athletic Wear 29-15 as leadoff hitter, pitcher, and former Classic Glass player Brian Atchison, Andres Garces, and shortstop Eric Zalinardo were all 4 for 4 in the win. At 9:30 and 10:45 p.m. Friday night, as the temperatures cooled off into the low 50s, the round of 16 games began with 15 conference teams and Nova, that Utah C team that knocked off Seminoles in the Sun game. Number 3 seeded Resmondo over on Yankee Field jumped out to a 21-8 lead on EAS before EAS closed the gap with a 10-run 3rd inning. Rismano then outscored EAS 18-13 down the stretch to win just 39-31. Josh Riley, Travis Clark, and Phil Matt were each on base 5 out of 6, and Everett Williams hit 3 homers and had 8 RBIs. The only clips I have of that game are right here. It's EAS lining out to Greg Cannell at second, and then B team in the blue. Gave Rismondo a game, and a nice job there. I concentrated my coverage on the JBL Smash It Sports game, which you can see in condensed form on YouTube. Smash It Bay Area. This was the first AA versus AA game of the year. Smash It scored 12 in the bottom of the first, JBL 10 in the bottom of the third, but JBL failed to score in the 6th and 7th innings, and Smash It, who trailed 33-32, going into the bottom of the 5th, scored 2 in the 5th, 3 in the 6th, and they won it without having to bat in the 7th inning. Here you see Tyler Dickens from Smash It hitting a home run. Laser Dave Johnson hits one off the Green Monster, the Fenway replica field for JBL. Later in the game, the long home run by Oliveira. And you see Dickens bouncing across, using the artificial turf infields to help him. Cardwell blows up the middleman for JBL. Gets himself a double. And Mike Williams from JBL gets picked by Brian McBride. Back to Tom Bloom. Tom Bloom had a nice defensive tournament for Smash It. Here's Ryan Ropel hitting one deep to left center, caught and run down by Kyle Fisher. Laser Dave, and he hits into a grounder, and Joe Dorton again. Gonna try to finish him off. Nope. Great play by the shortstop for JBL. Dorton runs well. He was safe at first. Here is your box score. As you can see, John Radich, Adam Ussery, 4 hits apiece. Smash It. Jason Branch, Joe Dorton, Jason Martell, Trey Porter, Kyle Fisher, Tom Bloom all had 4 hits, and Brandon Traylor was 5 for 5 in the big win for Smash It Sports. In the rest of the action, I was not able to cover every game. They were played at the same time Friday night. Nitro Circus beat Straight Play, a very good Straight Play team, 25-10. Competitive Edge, again, gave up just 6 runs and a 21-6 win over the A-team NFM Lending, the old Lund Mortgage team. That was a 5-inning game. Competitive Edge out-homered them 10-2. Mitch Lindensky, Tyler Irvine, Ryan Honeycutt, and Logan Rogers were all perfect hitting in the game, with Honeycutt and Lindensky hitting 3 homers each. Roofex, the old Rock Run guys, beat LNS Glass 27-21, scoring 15 in the top of the second. Leadoff hitter Arliss Miller was 4 for 5. 2-hitter Jeremy Fry was 5 for 5. 3-hitter Brandon Yoder, who came over from West Point, was 4 for 5. And their 4-man, their cleanup man, Terry Lambright, again with a big game, 4 for 5, 3 homers in the win. And in the final game, Nova, the Utah C team that beat Seminoles, played very well again, but came up short against the Bay Area Legends A team. 33-26, Bay Area wins it. Curtis Stewart, the power hitter from Precision, went 5 for 6 with 3 home runs. In other action, MPT Reynolds continued their hitting clinic, beating an upset-minded Corsi Realty 44-20. And check this out, this clip here from the Classic Glass versus Cheap Suits game. Cheap Suits pulled off an upset of Classic Glass on a walk-off grand slam shown here by Cameron King. King was 6 for 7 with 6 RBI, 6 runs scored in the game. Kenneth Doobie was 5 for 6 with 8 RBIs, and Isaac Gonzalez 6 for 6 with 8 RBIs and 6 runs scored in the end. When Cheap Suits knocks off Classic Glass, an upset A team over a double A team. All right, let's move on to the Saturday action and the quarterfinals, which began with MPT Reynolds versus Smash It Sports on Fenway Field at 11 a.m. Pacific time. The final 8, the round of 8, MPT and Smash It getting 14 home runs in this one. This is the game I decided to concentrate on. You see Josh Cardwell laying out, even though there were 70 runs scored in this game. Let's check out all the great defense. Luis Reyna there. Here you have Jeff Roxby, the MPT shortstop, making a great play. Tom Bloom up the middle. Roxby again at short. Nice, interesting play at the plate here. Reyna's foot never actually touches home plate. If you slow it down, a good call by the umpire, Mark Dallenbach. The defense continues. There you see the slow-mo. Reyna's foot goes over top of home plate. Zane Miguez, second base with the pick. Brandon Traylor at first base, stabbing the line drive. Smash it with some great defense. MPT gets into it. Dale Brungard at first base laying out. John Williams at third base in the 5-6 hole. Still makes the play at first. Brungard again at first base. Beats Dickens to the bag. Luis Reyna, full out dive, pitch to second. Miguez tags the base with his hand, the bare hand with the ball in it. Dickens, Reyna, and Traylor for the double play. Left fielder for MPT getting in the action. Chris Aninos with the sliding catch. How about some long home runs? Andrew Collins, MPT's new pickup, going over the net. Big John Williams. He has no trouble going over the net into the parking lot. Smash It shortstop Tyler Dickens with one of the longer home runs of the weekend, at least daytime homers. Then there were some lasers. Daniel Caton line drives it out of the park. Ryan Harvey, liner to the gap. MPT played without, of course, Philip Washington, who's suspended. Josh Kirsten gets it past Reyna. Chris Aninos getting in on the action. Juneau not affected by the temporary bat ban at whatsoever, scoring runs at will. But they did end up losing the game. Smash It Sports trailing MPT Reynolds 16-8, scored 14 in the bottom of the third to take control of the game and outscored MPT 19-12 down the stretch to win 45-38 without having to bat in the bottom of the seventh. Both teams hit their 14 home runs, and Joe Dorton, Zane Miguez, and Tyler Dickens had 5 hits apiece in the win. Dorton with 4 homers and 8 runs batted in. Meanwhile, over on Dodger Field, Competitive Edge, who had only given up 12 runs in 2 games on Friday, flat ran over Rufex Saturday afternoon, 30-8, scoring 24 runs in the bottom of the first inning. Mitch Lendensky, Here, pokes one through. He and Tyler Irvine were each 4 for 4 for competitive edge, while Jeremy Fry for Roofex increased his on-base streak. At 12:30, it was Resmondo again, struggling a little bit past Bay Area legends 45-37 after scoring 14 in the first and 14 in the second to take a 28-10 lead. Bay Area scored 15 in the third to make it close the rest of the way, but Resmondo wins. Josh Riley was 6 for 6 with 3 homers and 6 RBIs. Greg Cannell and Phil Matt were 5 for 6 each, and Bay Area's Curtis Stewart was 5 for 6. You see him here, 4 homers and 9 RBI in the loss. Bay Area gave them everything they could handle. You can see Bay Area, I stopped by for their big inning when they scored 15 in the third to get back into it. Both teams wearing gray, so it's hard to tell, but Bay Area is hitting here against Resmondo in the highlight clips. And of course, Donald Hollingsworth Jr. back from a shoulder injury that prevented him from playing most of last year. Here's Phil Matt with the double for Resmondo. Bradley Jones. Looks like he's been in the weight room this offseason. He doubles here against Bay Area. And there's your box score. In the other quarterfinal game, Nitro Circus knocked off Cheap Suits 39-14, scoring 20 runs in the bottom of the third inning and leaving them on the field in the fourth by scoring 13 more. Nitro out-homered them 13-3 as pitcher Sean Jones went 4 for 4. This weekend, softball moves on to semifinal number 1. Early Saturday evening, as the sun went down, the temperatures dropped. Competitive edge and Resmondo met in a much-anticipated shootout. Resmondo scored 24 runs in the bottom of the first, an inning that felt like it lasted an hour, but competitive edge, showing the resilience that major teams are known for, scored 27 in the second and third innings combined, and the score was tied going into the fifth, 34-34. Competitive edge, though, had a problem with those hard ground balls sticking in the glove, and that was the difference as Resmondo pulled out a 56-52 win. We can check out some highlights here. Let's check out this first semifinal highlights. Resmondo in the white and black, taking on competitive edge, wearing the Fence Brokers uniforms, one of their co-sponsors. Here's Phil Matt going into left center field gap. Just some highlights I picked out from a game that had 108 runs. Everett Williams, 2-run double. Josh Riley scoring from first. Travis Clark coming up. A backside grand slam homer. Trying to keep it in the park. When you watch these videos from Las Vegas, you have to remember that sometimes they're taking bad swings or swinging a bad pitch to try to keep it in the park. Chad Mullins with a 2-run double off the green monster. Farmer came in relief in the fifth for competitive edge. Slendensky with the base hit. Chad Mullins here makes it 49-44 with the grand slam homer. Kevin Bazat, 5 for 5 with a walk. He was on all 6 times. It's a laser to center. And then a late base running error, which became a theme for competitive edge. As you can see, they had to wait to see if it was caught. Zirkle holds at third. Lundensky's thinking triple. They're both at third. Riley decides to throw to second and just does get Lundensky at second. That was a big play in the game. And there's your box score. Bazat on base, 6 out of 6 for Rismondo. You can see 108 runs scored, 114 hits. There were 4 different innings with double digits, and Rismondo scoring 24 in the first inning to win it and advance to the winners' final. In semifinal number 2, which started late Saturday night, in 50-degree temperatures, Smash It Sports scored 10 runs in the bottom of the second, third, and fourth innings to take a 33-29 lead on Nitro Circus. But the defense of Nitro Circus, first baseman Zach Messer and Nitro's base hitting were just slightly better as they pulled off a 39-38 win when neither team could score in the 7th inning with the home runs gone. They got 14 homers apiece. Pitcher Sean Jones again, 5 for 5 in the win. Kyle Goeth had 5 hits. Emerson Marquez had 8 RBIs. And for Smash It, Luis Reyna was 6 for 6. Zane Miguez had 3 homers and 9 RBIs. But it wasn't enough as Nitro Circus here in the blue. We'll see some highlights. Reyna with a double off the wall. Brandon Traylor cuts one over the shortstop. Here's Chad Erickson, bounces up the middle. Reyna catches and throws. Defense was good on both teams. Tyler Dickens bounces. There's one of those defensive plays by Messer that I was talking about. Josh Cardwell again to Messer. If he didn't quite beat him to the base, Cardwell outrunning him. Little slow-mo action. The big guy hustling to first. You can see they're using the safety bag this year. And Nitro Circus wins it 39-38 over Smash It Sports to advance to the winners' final against Rismondo. There's your box score. As you can see, Jason Branch with 5 hits. Kyle Goeth, 5 hits. Zach Messer, a big game. Both teams hitting 14 homers. Next up was a late night winners bracket final between Rismondo, who was rolling with the offense, and Nitro Circus, who was finding ways to win. You can see some highlights. The game finished after 2 a.m. in the morning. Rismondo offense was unstoppable. Even though Nitro Circus stayed around for 6 innings, Rismondo won the game 62-42. Rismondo scored 17 in the 3rd, 18 in the 6th, and what turned out to be a marathon game. Bradley Jones for Rismondo was 8 for 8 with 10 RBIs in the win. Check out some highlights from the game. Here's Jones with one of his 8 hits that Chad Erickson almost came up with in center field. Nitro in the blue, of course, Rismondo in the black, trying to be the undefeated team going into Sunday. Scott Hartling doubles to the center field. Chad Mullins taking his turn. This one actually picked up by Nick Day, and they threw him out at first. Nick Day played a nice third base for Nitro Circus. Kevin Miller with an extra base hit. And there's your box score with Bradley Jones. 8 for 8. What a game. 10 RBIs. The losers bracket played out all day Saturday in Angel Field, was the site of a bunch of close games. We're going to show you all the close games here. Here we have JK Inc. playing Tranont over on Angel. And look what happens in the bottom of the 7th. Austin Sojika with the homer and the bat flip. And JK Inc. advances to the next round of the losers bracket. Angel Field wasn't done with the walk-off, so Masami walks off Balsagna, 19-18 on this shot to the gap, and the game-winning run scores. Masami with the walk-off. Laser Beam Cafe, they beat Ha Premier when Premier hits a home run for an out to end the game. And how about Classy? Classy beats the Conference B team EAS on a homer for an out here. EAS evidently out of home runs. I think they only get 8 in B. And Classy advances. Then, how about this one? Mooch, with runners on first and third, throws the excessively high ball 1. An excessively high ball 2. This is Rufex in the field. Straight play, the A team at the plate. He pitches one down the middle. And a line shot base hit by Carlos Abrigo wins it for straight play, 36-35, eliminating Roof X. So in the losers bracket, JBL won 2 games, straight play 3 games, including that walk-off by Carlos Abrigo to beat Roof X, before Bay Area dropped down and beat JBL and straight play, and then had a late night loss to Smash It Sports, 39-28. So Bay Area Legends A becomes the highest finishing A team in the Las Vegas tournament, finishing 5th. In the lower half of the bracket, the losers bracket that is, Seminoles won 3 straight games before Cheap Suits dropped down and beat them 37-32. And Classy, non-conference B team out of Arizona, won 4 games before MPT Reynolds dropped down and beat Classy and Cheap Suits before losing to Competitive Edge 41-21. I have a few clips of that one. Let's play that. This is a late night game. Bubba Mack hitting against MPT. Both teams wearing a light blue. Competitive Edge, Mack hits the homer. Competitive Edge was just too much in this one. Bubba Mack, Joe Bolin, and Connor Murray were all 5 for 5 in that game. And here's that late night game, about 2 a.m. between Bay Area Legends A in the gray and Smash It in the red. Okay, after a late night Saturday into Sunday morning, the game started at 8 a.m. with the final 4 teams. 4th place game between Competitive Edge, who again used overpowering offense in the middle of the game to score 26 runs in the 4th and 5th innings combined to beat Smash It Sports 39-27. Andrew Filateo, Mike Thorbrogger, and Ryan Honeycutt each had 5 hits. Here for Smash It, you see Tommy Baugh hitting a home run, 3-run shot. There's your box score. You can see the runs. At 9:30, it was the losers bracket final. Competitive Edge on a roll, beating MPT, Smash It, and now Nitro Circus 31-16 in 5 innings to advance to the championship against Rismondo. Ryan Honeycutt 5 for 5 for Competitive Edge. You see the long bomber of the week, Billy Sanders, hitting it over the net. And there's Brandon Streets in the Red sweatshirt there. He was out with a bad wrist injury. Hopefully he'll be back at the Hall of Fame. Nitro Circus fly to left. Lundensky tracks it down. These are the highlights from the losers final. Tyler Irvine going deep right field. Competitive edge on a roll. Moves on to the championship as they finish off Nitro Circus 31-16 in 5 innings. Bubba Mack with a no-doubter to end it by the run rule. There's your box score. You can see competitive edge turning it on. And again, the defense, they've held so many teams to like 16 or under in this tournament. Beautiful weather for the championship game. Competitive edge answers Rismondo's 12-run top of the first with a 20-run inning in the bottom of the first. Rismondo here, home run by Cannell. Competitive answered Rismondo again in the second inning, knocking out starting pitcher Brad Reckart. Then after blanking Rismondo in the fourth and fifth innings with some good defense, competitive edge won by the run rule to force the if game, 42-26. Ryan Honeycutt again, 5 for 5, knocking the ball off that green monster, and Mike Thorbrager had 4 doubles for competitive edge in the win. You see some highlights. Corey Briggs back from a year of injury last year to play center field for Rismondo. Hits a home run there. Here's Bradley Jones, swinging it well all weekend long. Josh Riley at leadoff. Thorbrager snaps him off, and that will do it. Competitive edge forces the if game. 42-26. You can see they scored 33 runs in the first 2 innings. The if game. Competitive edge got off to a slow start in the if game, but grabbed a 28-19 lead going into the bottom of the 5th. Rismondo grabbed the lead back 39-32 in the bottom of that inning, and that was all they needed. As competitive edge hit too many home runs for outs. They made a big base running error, we'll see here in a minute, in the 6th, and they came up a run short in the 7th with the tying run on third base. Rismondo's Tyler Marshburn, Everett Williams, and Chad Mullins each had 4 hits in the final win. See Buddy Wolf here grounding back through the middle. Mason Farmer was on in relief for competitive edge. Here's Corey Briggs whacking a home run. Billy Sanders, another long homer. Bradley Jones keeping it down. Bubba Mack with a nice play at third for competitive edge. Sanders bounces here to Overstreet, who took over third base for Phil Matt in this game with some nice defense. Tyler Irvine up the middle. And that's the play where Zirkle was off first base. Mitch Lindensky in this, I'm going to pause it here. Lindensky had hit a homer for an out. Zirkle had left first base. You see him down there standing next to Tyler Irvine. He thought it was a home run, so he walked off. He started coaching first base, and Irvine hit the ball, and the refs got together, the umpires, and decided Zirkle would be out. That was a big play in the game. The game was stopped for some controversy, but then in the 7th, competitive edge with no homers left, down 8, they try to cut down the lead. They got it within 1 run, and then this was the final at bat of the Sin City Major. Bouncer right at shortstop. Marshburn throws to first. He was the defensive MVP. And Rismondo wins the Sin City Classic for the second year in a row. You see the box score, competitive edge with the big runs in the middle. Rismondo answering with that 13-run fifth. And then after the homers were out, neither team scoring a lot of runs. This year's Sin City Classic was well run by director Tim Yamashita and his group of directors. I want to thank Bernie Guenther for his work on USSSAlive.com, Chuck Schimmels for helping me put up the live stream cameras. Thanks, Chuck. And Eric McCarthy for his support during the weekend with the cameras, the live stream, and he hosted that new conference primetime show. Thanks, guys. All right, let's take a look at the final standings, the awards, and the update on the women's duel. Let's check it out. Here's your standings. Rismondo, competitive edge 2, Nitro Circus 3, Smash It Sports, MPT Reynolds and Bay Area tied for 5th. Here's your Rismondo winners. Competitive Edge, Suncoast 2nd, Nitro Circus 3rd, Smash It Sports 4th, and your MVPs. Let me go back there a second. Kevin Bazat, MVP, middle infielder for Rismondo. Ryan Honeycutt, who had all those doubles off the wall for Competitive Edge, was offensive MVP. And defensive MVP, Tyler Marshburn, shortstop for Rismondo. You see the all-tournament team loaded with Rismondo guys. Corey Briggs coming back from injury with a nice all-tournament. Michael Thorbrager, late season, off-season pickup for Competitive Edge, getting the nod. Of course, Tyler Irvine, well-decorated. Zach Messer with that defense at first base for Nitro Circus. Big offensive weekend for DeAndre Porter, and the name you don't know on there, Joseph Caparelli, right fielder for Nitro Circus with a nice weekend. Here is your on-base percentage leaders for the tournament. Jeremy Fry, 17 out of 18 on base. I did hear a couple of those were kind of reaching on air, but that's all part of it. 944 on-base percentage. Stephen Trapar, 2nd from straight play. Connor Murray with a nice weekend for Competitive Edge, his new team. And there's Bazat, the MVP, at 867. John Williams off to a good start. Everett Williams was base hitting around the park. Josh Cardwell for Smash It. Donald Hollingsworth coming back from injury. Daniel Kirkwood over 800, Andrew Filateo in a support role for Competitive Edge over 800. Phil Matt was hitting lasers all over the park. Let's move on now to the doubles. Anthony Acevedo from straight play, 11 doubles, leading the tournament. Kyle Fisher for Smash It with 10. Of course, Logan Rogers, Mitch Lindensky were leaders in that category last year. Zirkel's been a leader in the past. He's down there in 9th. Honeycutt with 7 doubles was the offensive MVP. Now we go to home runs. Curtis Stewart, the former precision slugger, 16 homers. Second was Bubba Mack. And Dorton and Jeffrey Redden from straight play with 15. Irvine, Kyle Pearson, Josh Riley, Donald Hollingsworth, Cardwell, Lundy, Matt, all these guys had double digits. Checking out the RBIs, it was Bradley Jones who had 10 in one game there Saturday night against Nitro Circus. He leads with 39 RBIs in one tournament. Long bomber of the week was Billy Sanders, Competitive Edge. We had to pick someone who was hitting long ones during the day because everyone was hitting them at night. So Sanders gets the call this week. There's your point standings. It was 100. Each tournament is 180 points plus 4 times the number of conference teams. So 4 times 16 conference teams, 64 plus 180, 244 to the winner. Rismondo off to a nice start. Competitive Edge gets a 204, and then the AA teams, Nitro Circus and Smash It Bay Area with some big points. Straight play off to a good start with 154. And probably can't see that too well, but you can check out conferenceussa.com. This is the computer rankings. So Rismondo Competitive Edge, as you can see, Smash It third because they beat MPT, a major team. So you basically score points for the computer rankings, the higher level teams that you beat. You can also see their strength of schedule on this page. And then we'll check out the women's duel. They played a duel in Las Vegas, a great place for women's softball. Classic Glass beating Smash It Derby Girls. Classic Glass, a new major team in the women's division. 5-0 in the first one. Smash It second. La Familia third. Team 24 fourth. You see the co-MVPs, Jessica Alexander and Randy Pauly. Fiona Finau with the offensive MVP. And you see all the MVPs, all the all tournaments. Here's your Classic Glass team picture. There's Derby Girls second, La Familia third, Team 24 fourth. And then in the second duel, Smash It Derby Girls, just the opposite. Smash It Derby Girls undefeated 5-0, beating Classic Glass in the final Sunday morning. Team 24 third, and Payload, an A team, coming in surprise fourth. There's your Derby Girls team picture. Classic Glass, Team 24, and Payload. Your MVP, Tara Laquanen, pitcher for Derby Girls. Warner with the defensive MVP, and Sierra Rodriguez, offensive MVP. Your all-tournament team. Thanks to Kelly for putting that together. Classic Glass tied with Smash It Derby Girls at 424 points, off to a good start. Team 24 with 334, La Familia third. Payload, a surprise fifth. Trivia question answer. How many majors at the Sin City out of 12 has Brett Helmer-led teams won? The answer is 7. They've won the last 2. They've won 7 out of 12. This here was the view from the live stream. As you can see, it's pretty good. So, and we have the score bug down in the bottom left-hand corner. So we're improving the live stream this year. Don't forget, Hit and Sit show every Wednesday after a men's conference tournament. The panel will discuss the weekend as well as any controversies or whatever's in the news that week. Don't forget, if you have a USSSA Live subscription, you get the conference primetime channel with Eric McCarthy hosting. He does a red zone. If you've ever seen the NFL, he kind of jumps around to whatever the best game is on the live stream. So, and it is full screen. That's just a studio shot there. What's coming up each week? Each week we have condensed game and highlight videos on Monday. Content with tournament reports, trying to get that out on Tuesday. Sometimes it comes out Wednesday, and another condensed game. Wednesdays we have the Hit and Sit show, condensed games, computer rankings. The picture album will be ready. Thursdays, we're trying to get this show out this week in softball. Sometimes it takes longer, like it did this time. Tournament previews, highlight videos, women's updates, condensed game and highlight videos every day. Friday, the stats come out, league leaders, and then, of course, we're on to the next tournament and USSSA live streaming all the games. The bracket is out. Check out conferenceussa.com. Click on the bracket. The dual bracket is out and it is loaded. All the teams play 2 games on Thursday morning in the men's division. It's a dual weekend. It starts on Thursday at 8 a.m. They play the 2 games, and then the winners, the final 8, come into the stadium Thursday at noon, and they will play it out down to 2 teams. The winners bracket will be on Friday about 11 a.m., and then they'll start Duel 2 Friday night and finish Sunday. Now, to follow us, check it out. USSSA Live, Facebook, Twitter, conferenceussa.com, USSSAlive.com. That's how you follow Major Softball. And I'm going to leave you now with our opening, because it's cool.